Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom, Canada, and her other realms and territories, Queen, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith. Proclamation. To our faithful, the members elected to serve on our Legislative Assembly of our province of Alberta, and to each and every one of you, greetings. Whereas it is our will and pleasure, by and with the advice and consent of our Executive Council of our province of Alberta, to prorogue the second session of the 22nd Legislature of Alberta, we do hereby prorogue, effective March 13, 1991, the said legislature, and whereas it is deemed expedient for certain causes and considerations to convene the Legislative Assembly of our province of Alberta for the third session of the 22nd Legislature, we do will that you and each of you and all others in this behalf interested, on Thursday, the 14th day of March, AD 1991, at the hour of 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at our city of Edmonton, personally be and appear for the dispatch of business, to treat, act, do, and conclude upon those things which, in the legislature of our province of Alberta, by the common council of our said province, may, by the favor of God, be ordained. Herein fail not. In testimony whereof, we have caused these our letters to be made patent, and the great seal of our province of Alberta to be hereunto affixed. Witness, the Honorable W. Helen Hunley, Lieutenant Governor of our province of Alberta, in our city of Edmonton, in our province of Alberta, this 6th day of March, in the year of our Lord, 1991, and in the 40th year of our reign. By command, Ken Rostad, Provincial Secretary. Please be seated.
Sergeant of Arms is now about to bring a new member in. There was a by-election, and the honorable member for Edmonton-Strathcona has to be brought to the legislature, introduced to the legislature before he can take a seat. You notice the red carpeting that they will be coming in on, and that is, of course, a tradition. The legislature itself is green carpet. The green carpet signifies a lower house. The red carpeted chamber, which is the Senate of Canada, is an upper house. The new member who will be taking his place will be replacing the Honorable Gordon Wright, who passed away the end of last year, and the new member will be taking his place. The Sergeant of Arms is a descendant of a very historic Albertan, Father Lacombe. Oscar Lacombe, the present Sergeant at Arms, is, in my tenure, we really like the man because he does a terrific job. He's the man that keeps order in the gallery. It's always a very exciting thing, the opening of the legislature. Those of us who have served really do appreciate the history. Now the Sergeant of Arms is coming in. The Speaker is following the Sergeant of Arms and leading the procession. He has his legal counsel and some of his pages with him. The Speaker is the Honorable David Carter, the Speaker of the Legislature.
Let us pray. The prayer that we use is the prayer for Parliament as used at Westminster, our Mother of Parliament, since the year 1659. We, thine unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above to direct and guide us in all our considerations. Amen. Please be seated. The leader of the opposition party and the party whip, please proceed to the main door.
The Speaker has asked members of Mr. Chiver's party, the leader of the opposition, and one of the honorable member from Vegreville to accompany the new member to the assembly. If they have to bring him to the bar, he will be recognized, and then he will be in a position to take the seat.
Honorable members, I have received from the Chief Electoral Officer of Alberta, pursuant to the Election Act, a report containing results of the by-election conducted on December the 17th, 1990, which states that a by-election was conducted in the constituency of Edmonton-Strathcona, and the said report further shows that Mr. Barry Chivers was duly elected as a member for Edmonton-Strathcona.
Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to present to you Mr. Barry Chivers, the new member for Edmonton-Strathcona, who has taken the oath as member of this House and has subscribed the role and now claims the right to take his seat.
Let the honorable member take his seat.
It's an interesting tradition that in the Alberta legislature, the members pound their desks when they're approving something, and other assemblies they clap. The sergeant at arms has gone out now, and we will be waiting for the lieutenant governor to come in. The Speaker of the Assembly, the Honorable David Carter, acts impartially in the Assembly. He gives us the opportunity to speak. We have to speak in our rotation. We have to speak through the chair. And so that he's a very, very important part of the Assembly and a part of the parliamentary procedure. When the proclamation was first brought in, Dr. David McNeil, who is the clerk of the Assembly, by reading the proclamation, it ended the second session, and this commenced with the proclamation, the third session. The fact that we do have these traditions, and because we originally followed the traditions from the Mother Parliament in England, these are traditions that should be preserved. The tradition of the Speaker is a very interesting one. The Speaker has been in the parliamentary process for about 600 years now. And when you bring in a new Speaker in the first session after an election, there's an interesting facet that takes place. They have to drag the Speaker to his chair, because historically when the King didn't like something that Parliament was doing, they would chop off the Speaker's head. So it was sort of a distasteful position to have. But of course now he just has the tradition, but it is a very which he has to serve. The members of the Assembly hold the Speaker, especially this Speaker, in high regard. He is very impartial, he is very strict and very knowledgeable of the rules, but he gives all the members an equal opportunity to participate. We are also having a new Lieutenant Governor this year who has just been sworn to office. The Honorable Gordon Towers is the new Lieutenant Governor. When the Lieutenant Governor is in the House, he represents the Queen as part of our British parliamentary tradition. When the Lieutenant Governor is not in his place, the mace, which you saw focused earlier, is the representative of the Queen. There cannot be any business transacted in the legislature until the Lieutenant Governor has been in place, has given a speech from the throne, and then the House becomes the property of the member. The Sergeant of Arms is now coming.
Sergeant at Arms, admit His Honor, the Lieutenant Governor.
The Governor General is accompanied by aide-de-camp and members of the armed services. The Lieutenant Governor is now receiving a speech from the throne, and he will be reading the speech from the throne, which outlines the government's new programs for the session.
Mr. Speaker, and members of the Legislative Assembly, on this first occasion on which I am privileged to represent Her Majesty at the opening of this assembly, it gives me great pleasure to have the honor to welcome you to the third session of the 22nd Legislature of the province of Alberta. I first of all wish to take this opportunity on behalf of all Albertans to pay tribute to my predecessor, the Honorable Helen Hunley, who, as Her Majesty's representative, so diligently and conscientiously carried out the duties of this office for the past 6 years. I would also like, on behalf of my government and all Albertans, to express my sincere gratitude to those Albertans who served with the coalition forces in the recent conflict in the Persian Gulf. Their bravery and that of their families make us proud. I am thankful for their safe return. We live in interesting times. Everywhere we are surrounded by change. As we begin this session, my government recognizes these changes pose immense problems, challenges for Albertans and Canadians as we approach the beginning of a new century. In facing these challenges, in finding solutions that will allow us to continue to prosper as a province and a people, my government and Albertans must communicate and cooperate better than ever before. Albertans, through our province's strong democratic traditions, have made this assembly the instrument through which their common desires and values are developed into policies that shape the future of our province. In developing these policies, the key to my government's role is balance. My government must provide stability amidst this world of change. It must instill confidence in Alberta's future. I now outline the direction my government will take. The fiscal change. The fiscal challenges facing my government and all Albertans, those of maintaining the services my government provides while exercising fiscal restraint, are extremely difficult ones. Reduced federal government support, inflationary pressures, increased demand on services, and fluctuating commodity prices all influence Alberta's fiscal position. It is widely accepted that my government's record with respect to controlling program spending is the best in Canada. In addition, because of my government's careful fiscal management, hundreds of thousands of Albertans enjoy the lowest taxes in Canada. My government cares about all Albertans. Fiscal responsibility is not a blind obsession. Fiscal responsibility helps our people and allows us to provide special help to those who really need it. The fiscal challenges for government grow more difficult every day, but striving to balance the budgets remains a priority. Budgets, however, are not just balance sheets. Budgets are also about school children, the sick, the handicapped, people, families. My government will ensure that those basic services, health, education, social services, seniors programs, and protection of the environment are maintained to ensure the high quality of life Albertans enjoy. Except for Alberta, Canada is in the midst of a recession, and many Canadians are enduring economic hardships. Through the efforts of Albertans and my government's fiscal and diversification policies, Alberta will continue to grow in spite of the recession around us. It is widely recognized that Alberta's economy will continue to be the most vibrant in Canada and indeed North America. Alberta's unemployment rate is the lowest in our country as my government's plan, working in partnership with our people, is meeting its objectives. Albertans should be proud that their planning, work ethic, and individual initiative have made our province a beacon of financial strength in North America. The economic challenge. The economic challenges facing Albertans are considerable. An increasing competitive marketplace, technological change, and protectionist trade practices both within and outside of Canada are a few of the challenges business and my government must face together in developing an economy that will continue to prosper into the next century. My government will work with business, labor, and community leaders in order to ensure that our plan for Alberta's economic future continues to be successful and able to meet the changing conditions. My government will assist business to find other solutions as well for our traditional industries, agriculture and energy, and for our new industries, forestry, technology, tourism, and petrochemicals. My government will continue to aggressively pursue new markets, reduce interprovincial and international barriers to trade, seek new investments, apply new technologies, and provide a climate in which business can be successful. At the same time, the initiative of individual Albertans should not be and will not be restricted or overregulated. Alberta's economic strength depends on the prosperity of every region of our province, and my government is committed to ensuring that both urban and rural Alberta are given the opportunity for growth. By working with farmers and the federal government to provide income stability for agriculture, assisting small businesses and exporters in getting their start, encouraging continued specialization and diversification throughout the province, continuing to improve our transportation system, and encouraging rural business development, my government will be part of the solution to our economic challenges. Alberta's economic prosperity also depends on the quality of our workforce. My government will work with business, labor, and industry to develop new labor markets and strategies, enhance our education, training, and certification programs, encourage research and development, and continue to improve workplace health and safety. My government also recognizes the importance our international relations hold with respect to the prosperity of our province. My government will enhance its international efforts through our offices, trade missions, and our special relationship with provinces and states in other countries. My government will also pursue closer economic ties with the Pacific Northwest Economic Region. In the important area of international trade policy, my government will work closely with Alberta business, other provinces, and the federal government to ensure that the Alberta interests are addressed in the Canada, U.S., Mexico, and General Agreement of Tariffs and Trade Negotiations. The success of the GATT negotiations are vital to the future of agriculture in Alberta. My government strongly supports fair and liberalized trade throughout North America and the world. Encouraged by my government, Alberta's entrepreneurs and dedicated workforce have built a strong and diversified economy that will continue to prosper amidst the changes we face. The environmental challenge. The environmental challenges facing Alberta, Canada, and the world are very complex. Balancing economic development and environmental protection, maintaining our quality of life and the quality of our environment, and accepting our role as part of a global environment. These are the issues facing our province in the 90s. Albertans, Alberta industry, and my government have worked together to achieve great success in the past, and we must be steadfast in our commitment to find solutions in the future. My government will introduce strong environmental protection legislation, draft waste management legislation, create clean air and fuel efficiency programs, and examine all major economic initiatives. Albertans throughout the province will be consulted and involved in deciding our environmental future. My government also is committed to helping individuals become more active in protecting their environment. Through our waste management and recycling programs, the development and use of environmentally friendly products, and environmental workshops for teachers, students, and the general public, my government will encourage greater awareness and understanding of the role individual Albertans have to play in protecting our province. Together, Albertans and my government must demonstrate a clear and strong commitment to protect our magnificent province for the present and future well-being of all Albertans. The social challenge. Working with Albertans, my government will remain committed to meeting the social needs of Albertans, our aging population, the changing nature of families, and limited resources all contribute to this challenge. Enabling Albertans to improve the quality of life through better health and providing Albertans with equal opportunities to attain and maintain good health continues to be a goal of my government. In addressing this priority, my government will focus on managing health resources more effectively and efficiently to ensure that our system remains affordable and sustainable. In providing prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and support services, my government will continue to develop an acute care funding plan, establish an Alberta Family Life and Drug Abuse Foundation, and respond further to the recommendations of the Premier's Commission on future health care for Albertans. Alberta's social strength is more than the health of Albertans. In addressing the social challenge we face, my government must work with Albertans to strengthen the family, both for volunteers, care for our seniors, prevent violence in and out of the home, provide for recreation and cultural opportunities, encourage independence and dignity for all Albertans, and allow for the full expression of our ethnic, culture, linguistic, and religious diversity. Stability and choice and freedom are the foundations of society in Alberta, and my government will continue in its efforts to keep the foundation strong. Education will continue to be a top priority for my government. The greatest cause we can have is to prepare young Albertans for the challenges they will face as adults. My government will assist Albertans in helping our children prepare by developing a new vision for education, continuing to provide equal opportunities for students throughout the province, and by introducing tuition policies that reflect the evolving needs of our advanced education system. The constitutional challenge. The constitutional challenges, those of deciding what Alberta's future in Canada will be, are as important as any my government and Albertans face. Nowhere is the cooperation, commitment, and consensus of Albertans more required than on this issue. The future of our province and Canada is at stake. The issues, language, our political institutions, the division of responsibilities, our fundamental rights and freedoms, the future of our Aboriginal peoples, and the very nature of our federal system are more compelling now than they have ever been. Canada has changed, and Albertans will have to decide what Alberta and a new Canada will be. My government has already begun the task of seeking the views of Albertans and on the key constitutional questions facing the province and the country. My government has sought to encourage dialogue through the release of a discussion paper entitled Alberta in a New Canada. It is my government's intention to establish a select special committee of the legislature to conduct public hearings on our constitutional future. Through the work of the select committee, my government will ensure that Albertans have full opportunity to participate directly in determining our province's future. My government's responsibility is to use the instruments of democracy Albertans have entrusted to us to develop a plan to address the challenges I have outlined today. My government has that plan to provide for stability amidst change. In addition, during this session, my government will establish a conference on the economy to review and renew our economic plan for the next decade, reintroduce the Loans and Trust Company Act, introduce a new Municipal Government Act, introduce legislation to promote local self-government and improvement districts throughout Alberta, participate in the North American Waterfall Plan, continue to negotiate treaty land entitlement claims, establish the foundations for adult learning and development policy, implement a number of recommendations of the action plan of the Premier's Council on the status of persons with disabilities. Establish a single agency to provide for the granting of lottery funds to the arts. Amend the School Act to recognize minority language education rights. Amend the Legislative Assembly Act to include certain recommendations from the Conflict of Interest Review Panel report. An ethics commissioner will be established. And introduce other legislation programs and fiscal measures for consideration and deliberation of this House. There are many jobs left to do. My government's cause is to make a difference in a different and changing world. My government cares about the well-being of our free society and this beautiful land we share. The land has shaped Albertans and been shaped by Albertans. The prairies, the foothills, the forests, the streams, and the lakes have shaped a people of freedom, independence, and pride. A people with beliefs and values that mean greatness for Alberta, and opportunity and dignity for each and every Albertan. In due course, you will be presented with budget estimates. You will be asked to authorize the necessary funds for operating services and expenditures, and to endorse a program of capital financing for the government of Alberta. You represent a beautiful province of strength, hope, and promise. And now I leave you to the business of this session, confident that as elected representatives, you will in every way fulfill your responsibility to Albertans. Mr. Speaker and members of the Legislative Assembly, I pray that the blessing of God may rest upon your deliberations. God bless Alberta. God save the Queen.
The governor has now delivered a speech, and he and the premier will now be leaving the assembly. At this time, the assembly is still a servant of a lieutenant governor. The fanfare that you hear, the trumpets were donated by the city of Calgary for the 75th anniversary of the legislature. When the lieutenant governor is in his seat and delivering the speech from the throne, the seat is called the throne, but when the speaker is sitting in it, it is called the chair, and he is the chairman of the assembly. Another very interesting thing is that when the lieutenant governor is in the presence of the House, the mace is covered, because the mace, in the absence of the lieutenant governor, is the representative of the Queen. As you see now, the mace is uncovered. While we're waiting for the premier to come back and bring the first bill to the House, maybe you noticed when the camera was panning how feverishly the leader of the opposition, Mr. Martin, was writing, and the leader of the Liberal Party were writing notes on the speech from the throne. They have to have a summary of the throne speech, because as soon as the session is finished this afternoon, they have to make comments to the media. And it is always a very busy time for the members of the opposition, because they don't know what's going to be in the throne speech until they see it themselves and hear it. So I remember in all the many years I was there, we had a lot of work to do when the speech was being delivered. The Speaker of the Assembly now is the Honourable Member from Calgary-Egmont, Dr. Carter. We'll be waiting for the Premier to come in to start the House into session. As soon as the Premier makes his entrance, then the first bill that will be introduced will be the first reading of that bill. Bills have to pass 3 readings before they become law, and then the Lieutenant Governor gives royal assent, and then the laws become the laws of the province. The Premier always brings an ordinary bill in to start the proceedings, and then the committees of the Assembly are established. After the committees of the Assembly are established, then the government House Leader will be moving as the House adjourns, and the Leader of the Opposition will be the first one to start the proceedings tomorrow morning. The people you see in the background is our Clerk of the Assembly, Dr. David McNeil. He is the full-time member of the House. Now, the Premier's coming in. As soon as the Premier takes his seat, he will be introducing the bill.
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I beg leave to introduce a bill being the Seniors Advisory Council for Alberta Act. Mr. Speaker, this bill provides the legislative framework for our Seniors Advisory Council to provide recommendations and advice to the government.
The Honourable the Premier has moved first reading of Bill number 1, Seniors Advisory Council of Alberta Act. All members in favor of the motion for first reading, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion is carried.
Bill number 1, being the Seniors Advisory Council for Alberta Act, introduced by the Honourable Mr. Getty, is now read a first time.
This is called the first reading of the bill.
Honourable members, I have the honour to table a copy of the speech graciously given by His Honour the Lieutenant Governor.
Premier? Mr. Speaker, I move that the speech of His Honour the Honourable the Lieutenant Governor to this Assembly be taken into consideration tomorrow.
Having heard the motion by the Honourable Premier, do all members agree? Opposed? Motion carried. Associate Minister of Family and Social Services.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the votes and proceedings of the Assembly be printed, after first having been perused by Mr. Speaker, and that he do appoint the printing thereof, and that no person but such as he shall appoint do presume to print the same.
Having heard the motion of the Honourable Associate Minister of Family and Social Services, would all those members in favor of the motion please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion carried. Minister of Career Development and Employment.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the select standing committees for the present session of the Legislative Assembly be appointed for the following purposes. 1, privileges and elections, standing orders and printing. 2, public accounts. 3, private bills. 4, law and regulations. 5, public affairs. 6, the Alberta Heritage Savings Trust Fund Act. And 7, legislative offices.
As members in favor of the motion moved by the Honourable Minister of Career Development and Employment, say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion is carried. Minister responsible for occupational health, safety, and workers' compensation.
Mr. Speaker, I move that a special committee be appointed consisting of 7 members, herein after name. The said committee to prepare and report with all convenient speed list of members to act on the select standing committees ordered by the Assembly. Mr. Day, Chairman, Mrs. Black, Mr. Cherry, Mr. Highland, Mrs. Bonnie Lang, Mr. Fox, and Mrs. Few.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Government House Leader, Deputy Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Assembly stand adjourned until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Having heard the motion by the Honorable Government House Leader, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, please say no. Motion carries. The House stands adjourned until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
That ends the formal part of the session this afternoon. The Sergeant-at-Arms is now going to take the Speaker of the Assembly and the Mace representing the Lieutenant Governor, out of the Assembly. It's for ceremonial purposes that the Speaker goes out through the main doors. When the House is in session, the Speaker goes out through the side doors. The business of the session is now in the hands of the members of the Assembly. The Government House Leader said that the House would adjourn until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and the first Speaker starting the debate on the throne speech will be the Leader of the Opposition. The opening ceremonies are very touching, are very exciting for the members of the House and the families.